guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another Telly Talks. So today I'm super excited to share with you guys some good news. At first I was going to share it, but then I was like, why not? Why not share what God has allowed and blessed me with? Like, we always complain about the struggles, but when it comes to our testimony and giving God glory for what he's done, how he came through on our behalf, it's something that we want to keep secret. So I decided, no, I'm not going to keep it secret. I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to tell the whole world, if I could, that God has blessed me in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of losing my first job. And so I'm just beyond blessed. Like, at first, I was looking at my situation. When I first lost my job, it was a kind of slap in the face because it was all for something petty. It was something that didn't necessarily should have happened, but it happened. And, I just kind of had to take it. And I wasn't even mad at the person, who let me go, and it wasn't even my supervisor, but it was the contracting agency that I was working under. So I wasn't mad at her. There was no resentment. I had to go up to the office and turn in my laptop and turn in my badge. So I did all of that. It was no harsh feelings because at the end of the day, I know that God has my back. And that job, though it was very, it was a good job. I was working for the government, contracting for the government, and I learned so much stuff that, how the government works. And in that specific field, I learned a lot of stuff. Like, I was pretty much working as if I was a full-time, I was full-time, but I was working as if I was actually a, not an agent, but if I was basically like, that was my real job. I wasn't a contractor. I was there permanently. I was pretty much, they were working me like that. So they could see the potential. Like, my supervisor, she could see the potential in me, and she wanted to promote me. She's been wanting to promote me, but due to budgeting and then the pandemic, all that fell through. So I first thought, okay, contractor let me go, but my supervisor, she got me in the clutch, but it didn't happen that way. So things happen for a reason. And so I was just working my part-time job, and I was just using that, as a way to make ends meet. And so that was, that it wasn't the job, it wasn't the best, but it was work and it was money. So I did what I had to do. And so today is actually officially my last day with my part-time job because they were getting rid of all the in-store shoppers because they felt like they were losing money. So today is officially my last day there. So assist don't have no job right now, but guess what? God is going to come through. And yeah, so I just looked at both of these jobs. My full-time job that I was working before, I was there for 3 years. My part-time job, I was working there for December, made 4 years. So, I'm a good worker. I'm consistent. I have all these attributes of being, a consistent worker. It's not like I'm at one job 1 month or 2 months or even a year and then I'm at another job. It's not like that. So, I'm not hopping from job to job. So anyway, they're getting rid of all the in-store shoppers. So basically, this will give me free up more time for me while I'm in the midst of still looking for jobs and still applying. This will give me time to just basically use my gift and my talents and kind of really go in on that, and also get back on this working out and this eating right, because let's just say that 2 months the first month went really smooth, it went really good. The second month is when I got sick towards the end of that month, and then, you know, the inconsistency with working out. So all that played a factor. So I kind of like went downhill in terms of that. So yeah, this time will be dedicated to me just being more entrepreneurial, having a more entrepreneurial mindset. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to work for nobody. I want to work for myself. And I also want to do something different that everybody's not doing. Like, how can I separate myself from the bunch? And so yeah, this will just give me time to really tap into my gifts and my talents and see what I can do, you know. And like I said, focus on my workouts and my eating right and just getting back to that. And so I'm just, you know, there is no, I've been wanting to leave, you know, both jobs, honestly, because, you know, any job, you know, it comes with it, it's good and it's bad. And at the point where, before I did get let go from my first job, before the pandemic, it was just overwhelming. It was just overwhelming. I was the youngest person there. Everybody was just looking at me, like, all in my business, seeing who I'm talking to, seeing what I'm doing. I'm like, as long as I get my work done, that's all that matters. I don't have the answer to none of my coworkers but my supervisor, and it was just like one of those type of things. I was the youngest one. Everybody older than me. Everybody been there for years. Everybody full time and, you know, employees there. I was the only contractor. And then when I would do stuff, because I'm young, I was bringing like innovative type stuff, doing stuff a little bit more smoother, more faster. So they were kind of intimidated by that. So it was just a lot of back and forth. You know, I can feel the tension when I come in, and I just felt like, you know, when the pandemic happened and I started working from home, it was kind of a relief. I was like, yes, I can kind of be in my bubble, because though I like working with people, I honestly feel more comfortable working with myself. Like, I like to be responsible for myself and for my stuff. And I don't want to have to depend on another person to, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? So that I will have to, you know, so that the job or whatever at hand doesn't get submitted or done in a timely fashion. So I like to do my own thing, and I like to be in my own space. So when pandemic happened, it was kind of like, yes, I'm at home. I can work from home. I can do my own thing type thing. I can be in my little bubble. And then, you know, it was going good, but then I took on another job. I was helping another department. So I was doing my department plus another department, and it just became overwhelming. I was working more at home than I was at work. Like, it was just super overwhelming, because the job that I was helping out with, that was so demanding. Like, I was assisting with FEMA. So we had to get these receipts, we had to get this information from all these contractors, we had to submit it to make sure we get our money. Like, so it was super demanding, and it just became overwhelming, because it was like, I gotta please this people over here and I gotta please them people over there. So I felt like, you know, when I did get let go, that's why I didn't have any animosity or anything like that. I felt like this was God giving me a way out, you know, a release, because I literally, like, after I got let go from there, I literally felt peace. Like, it was so much peace in my life at that point, because I didn't have to worry about answering to this person, answering to that person over there. And it was just like, okay, I can wake up on my own, I can go to my other job, I can do my own schedule for that. So it was just like so much peace, and I just felt like I didn't want to look at this situation and be like, God, you know, question God, and, you know, because at the end of the day, He knows the before, He knows the after, He knows the during. So I knew that if I focus on why this had to happen to me, then I wouldn't see the blessing, you know, at the end of the day. And the blessing is my peace. The blessing, like, your peace of mind is something so important, and especially like during pandemic, when you isolated, you can just become so discouraged, and you can just become so overwhelmed, especially like with work and just changing how life is at this point. And so, you know, leaving that job, like I said, I didn't have any animosity. I was still cool with all of my coworkers. In fact, like, people will still reach out to me. My supervisor, she still to this day reach out to me and contact me and, you know, just stay connected, because at the end of the day, I was a good worker and they seen that in me. And so, you know, I was just happy to just be gone off of that. And yeah, the money, you know, the money is not coming in the way it used to, but at the same time, I had my peace of mind. And so with my second job, you know, that wasn't so demanding. It was just the fact that I had to be on my feet all day, which I'm used to. But I didn't want to make that like my primary job, my primary focus. I was actually about to quit that before pandemic, but then when pandemic happened, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just do a couple of more months, and within those couple of months, that's when I got let go from my full-time job. So I just kind of was forced to stay with my part-time job for the duration to just get money. And so when they were like, okay, we're gonna get rid of all the in-store shoppers, I was like, okay, well, I don't have no choice at this point. Like, they just gonna let us go, period. They're just gonna let us go. And so that was, again, you know, because I've been working these jobs, especially this second job, for 4 years, busting my tail, going from one job to the next job. And I'm a hard worker. Like, I don't mind working, but when you feel unappreciated, or when you're overworked and underpaid, or when you just felt like, you know, this job and your purpose at this job ran its course, then, you know, it's time to go. And that's kind of how I felt. Like, I felt like I've been wanting to leave, and this, again, a blessing in disguise. It's unfortunate that, you know, a lot of us, because I met so many people through here, and, you know, just the connections that I built, the money that was coming in, you know. So I was just like, okay, God, I trust you. At the end of the day, I trust you, because I can't control anything. Like, only thing I can do is do my part, and my part is showing up every day, every moment. If that means applying for a job here, I need to do that. If that means doing what I need to do over here, I need to do that. So I have to do my part and allow God to just take care of all the rest, because I can't control it. You know, anything can happen. And so, said all that to say, during the midst of losing my first job and now my second job, I have completely, by the grace of God, paid off all of my debt. My birthday was on the 15th, and it kept being something in my mind, like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, what about the money? And what if I spend all the rest of this money? And what if I won't, you know, I'm not working anymore, so what do I, you know, how do I take care of my bills and stuff? And I believe this year is a year of no longer living a having a scarcity mindset and living in lack. This is the year that I've declared over my life and my family that I'm going to live a blessed life, and I don't want to be living from paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to be relying on a job to hire me or to fire me. I don't want to be relying on anybody to just do a switch and, you know, I'm out. Like, I don't want to have to rely on anything or anyone but God. And so I was listening to a sermon and talking about the blessed life and financial freedom and all that stuff. And I've always, though I was never taught, I was briefly taught in college, but like my parents or nothing, they didn't know nothing about that. They didn't teach me. But when I first got my first credit card, I would never forget. I was in a bank, and the lady, she was just like, make sure, you know, when you have your debt, make sure you pay the principal, because like at the end of the day, whatever, like a car note or something like that, they're going to take whatever your car note is. Say your car note is $300. They're using $300 is not going directly to your car. It might be like $250 going to your car, and then the other $50 is going towards interest, and that's kind of how they make their money, because they're getting paid off the interest, and that's what also extend the amount of time that you have to pay off a car or a house or whatever it is. And so she always taught me that, you know, the difference between the difference between interest and principal. And she told me, like, and also like your due dates and stuff like that, you want to pay them on time, and you want to be just be responsible. And that stuck with me, you know, from this point, you know, from there to now, that stuck with me. So I've always considered myself to be pretty responsible and have a nice credit score, and by the grace of God, and you just take care, you know, of my responsibilities, and just try to pay stuff off in time and not linger in debt. And so even with school, like I went to school, I went to college. After I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to college. I wanted to break generational curses. So I was like, I'm going to college, you know, because back then they were like, you go to college, you want to get a good job. So that was like, okay, I want to go to college. I got something to do, so that way I can have my foot in the door when I'm done. And I wanted to go away, but unfortunately I didn't get enough funds to. So I worked a full-time job. I went to school full-time. And I did what I had to do, and I didn't graduate in the 4 years, but I graduated in 5.5 years or 6, one of those, I can't remember. And I graduated with no debt because I paid off, you know, sometimes I had to go have time, and I had to pay that, you know, to pay that money while we were working full time. So when I graduated from school, I didn't have any student loans, no debt or anything like that. And I kind of wanted to keep that momentum going, whether it be with a car, a house, or anything like that. And I know debt is not bad. Like, I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, because you got debt, you're irresponsible. No. Debt is because you don't have the money up front. You now have to lend from someone or institution so that you're able to finance this car or this house until it's paid off. And that also helped, you know, showing a history of payments on time that shows like that you're responsible, and that shows that I can trust you with more. So debt is not always, it's just how you handle your debt. That's the thing. And so I'm the type, I don't like owing nobody. I don't like owing nobody. But the reality of it is, if you don't have the money at the time, you're gonna have to owe somebody. And so I said all that to say, God has blessed me and allowed me to pay off my car a year early. I officially paid it off on yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna do this for my birthday. Nobody's traveling that much this year. I didn't do that much for my birthday. So I was like, why not? Why not bless yourself to pay off your car note and not have to walk around with that lingering. Now that you're not working, that's one less thing you don't have to worry about. So I decided to use my little savings and pay my car off and just wait on God, you know, and watch him work. Because I feel like when we have a scarcity mindset, we're holding on to what we have, and the more we hold on to what we have, God is not able to bless us with more because we got our hands closed. And for a long time I had to realize that the hard way, because naturally I'm stingy, I'll admit that. And a lot of times I'll be like, no, I just want to hold on to this just in case. And though, you know, you having that backup mentality, like just in case, that's also can be a scarcity mindset, because now you're putting your faith in things and not in the God who gave you the thing. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a while to realize, like, okay, you don't know. What if the bank shut down? What if your bank go into foreclosure or whatever the case may be, and all that money you thought you was saving or you had is wiped out, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not protected. So don't have a scarcity mindset. Don't live in lack. If it's something that you want to do, do it. If it's something that you feel like, you know, if God had gave it to you, allows you to bless you with it, bless somebody else, help somebody else out, you know, do something with what you have and allow God to give you more, you know, in due season. So yeah, so that's my praise report. Like I said, I didn't want to say nothing, but I'm like, I'm gonna give God the glory that He is due, because this ain't me. Like I said, my bank could have went bankrupt, or anything could happen. It could have blew up, or anything. Somebody could have hacked them, whatever. But He allowed me to still have that. And, you know, me thinking smart is, okay, not working right now. So instead of having to worry about this bill and that bill and that bill, that's one less bill, which is like a big piece of what you have to pay. Just get rid of that. If you got it to cover you, just get rid of that. Because at least with your rent, you know that's a consistent amount. That's like a constant amount. It don't change. Whereas your car note, your interest gonna keep accumulating the more you keep it. The less you pay it off, your interest gonna keep on adding on. So I'm like, it'll just be smart for me to just go ahead and take care of that, have one less bill, and you know, whatever happens after that happens. And so that's what I did. I'm so grateful to God. I'm so happy again that He allowed me to be able to just have that mindset, like, okay, this is smart to do. This is not you're not blowing this on a bag, on a trip. You actually being responsible, and you're doing this for something to help you out in the future, so that you won't have other bills and other debt that's weighing you down. And so I just had to share that with you all. I hope that inspires you to just not live in lack, you know, because again, we always holding on to the things that we have, and sometimes God want to bless us with more. That job that you got let go, don't look at it as a bad thing. That's just God moving you on to something better. That relationship that you no longer, you know, in, God wanted you to have something better. And sometimes it takes for God to take something away from us so that He can open that door for us to get more. Because sometimes we'll hold on to it, like our life depend on it, and God like, I got so much better for you. I want so much more for you. But because you see yourself as mediocre, you see yourself like this, and He want to take you here, but you don't want to let go of this because you're afraid, or you think you're not worthy of this, when He wants to give you the best of the best. And so that's my message to you all. God want to give you the best of the best. So that means letting go of that relationship, letting go of that job, letting go of that mindset, you know, so that God can give you His best. Then can't get no better than that. So hope you guys be blessed. I will talk to you guys again. Thanks for tuning in to another Telly Talks. Peace, love, and talk to you guys later.